Hey everyone, it's Rob Reider. I am trying to get a hold of General Flynn using the social media party line known as Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. Could be by carrier pigeon. Hell, it could be the NSA. I really don't care how it is. Can somebody please get me in contact with the General? I just need a few minutes of his time. Sir, because General Flynn, you and Q's forces need to know only one oath satisfies the sixth article of the Constitution of the United States. And that would be your adversary, which includes Nancy Patricia Pelosi and the rest of the imposters pretending to be members of Congress, did not recite it. They have not recited the oath that satisfies the sixth article of the Constitution of the United States. And this is Saturday, June 27th, 2020. Staff Sergeant Lusky, U.S. Army veteran, reporting as ordered. P.S. Sir, your adversaries simulated 2 court cases against you. I don't know if you knew that, sir, but if you were to take a look at the PACER account for your court case, you would see that there's actually 2 different cases started on 11/30/2017. One is USA v. Flynn, and the other one is Michael T. Flynn. Now, sir, neither of these use your full legal name. Michael T. Flynn is not your identification. And so that makes these illegal because they didn't use your legal name. And that's been defined as your first name, middle names, last name, no initials, no nicknames. But as you can see, there's 2 cases been opened on the same day. 117CR 00232 EGS and 117CR 00232 EGS-1. Go figure. Now, one is, a versus, and the other one isn't. So this Michael T. Flynn is more like a probate case in the matter of. But your name isn't Michael T. Flynn. And so when they say you were lying, right, I would say it's because of this, right, that you were agreeing to be Michael T. Flynn, and that's not your name. Now, you should have been there in the first place because, sir, you're an officer. They had to court-martial you. You have earned the privilege of court-martial. But this is part of the scheme that we're under, and you were a victim of it, just like anybody else who goes to a court are victimized exactly like you are, only differently. Okay, give me. And so, sir, on my YouTube channel at Rob Reider, ROBBBRYDER, under General Flynn, flash message, I spent an hour going through all these little things I had found about the paperwork in your court case that shows that it's some kind of simulated legal process because they're using like 3 different names for the court. And some have different kinds of seals, file stamps on other pages. Some pages don't have any file stamps. It's a real mess. It's a can of spaghetti. And, I don't understand it all, but I don't need to say, well, it's wrong. And that's all I'm saying, it's wrong. And around that time, then, if you were to go back to Governor, I'm not judging you, and went forward, you would see that I'm pointing out a lot of these things in great detail that I'm going to spend very little time on right now, just so that I can say that I said it. So, what I would like to point out, sir, is my very last video, which was 4 days ago, Open Letter to Veterans. I was pointing out that the American Legion and these other patriotic associations created under Title 36 of the United States Code that could have all sorts of authority in the United States if they followed the few rules that were set up for them to follow by Congress, that would be very beneficial to the rest of us. However, they're not doing it. And I spent an hour and a half or an hour talking about it. And just today I see that somebody posted on QAnon, I believe it was, that it says the leadership of the American Legion has not had a constructive thought for the benefit of this country since 1918. That'd be JFK. Speech in the House in 1949. So there you are, right? The American Legion hasn't got their paperwork in order. They didn't establish a registered agent for legal service, and they're not filing a report of their yearly audit to the Congress using the full legal name, the American Legion. They're using a pseudonym name. So they're just pretending. And really, it isn't the American Legion, right? It's not the veterans doing it. It's the fucking staff. The people that never leave, they're doing it. So, that's where we're at. If we could get that straightened out, that'd be a big help. Let's get back to you, sir. Hang on a second. So let's talk about this oath that satisfies the 6th Article of the Constitution. It would be found in the laws of the United States, the acts of the first Congress of the United States. And so we're talking about the first law passed by the first Congress after the ratification of the Constitution, which is commonly known as 1 Stat, S-T-A-T 23. But its name is an act to regulate the time and manner of administering certain oaths. And it says in this first section, being enacted, that the oath or affirmation required by the 6th Article of the Constitution of the United States shall be administered in the form following, to wit, I state your name, do solemnly swear or affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States. Period. That is the oath that satisfies the 6th Article of the Constitution, sir. Until you take that, you're not satisfying the 6th Article. And there's nothing anybody can ever say to change that, because it's the first law of the first Congress. I don't care if they took a different oath. They need to take this one. And this is what I've been pointing out in all these videos, that nobody's taking this frickin' oath. So to prove that, if you look at the Congressional Record, which is at congress.gov, and you can search on, different words or whatever you want to search on, put in oath or whatever it is, you would find that on January 17, 2019, in the House section of the Congressional Record, started at page H712, going to H716, that on those days, this really isn't the proper day to do this, I should point out, they're supposed to have filed their oath as the first thing they did on the first Tuesday after the beginning of the year. Instead, we're waiting until the 19th or the 17th of January to put this in. And then we're going to do it after they have adjourned for the day, right? Adjourn until tomorrow, Friday, January 18th. And yet, we're going to file an oath of office for these members, resident commissioners, and delegates. And they go on to say the oath of office required by the 6th Article of the Constitution of the United States, yada, 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 ba, 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 ba. And then we look at what the oath is, and we say, well, this is the oath that I hear a lot of people in the last few days saying on Twitter, which is, I state your name, do solemnly swear that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same, and that I will take this obligation freely without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion, and that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties of the office on which I am about to enter. So help me God. Well, that last part's just a killer, sir, because so help me God is a religious test. That violates the 6th Article of the Constitution. It's really that simple. I'll show you where that is in just a second. But this is the oath that the people pretending to be in Congress are taking. And then this is the names that they put on their oath. And as you can see, they're not full legal names. They're using names with middle initials, nicknames. Right, Eric A. Rick Crawford. Well, that's not his full legal name. That name isn't on his driver's license. Well, Nancy Pelosi isn't on her driver's license either. It would be Nancy Patricia Pelosi. That's her identification. So all of these people have misidentified themselves on an oath of office. They counterfeited an oath of office, sir. Well, so they counterfeited this oath, and then they counterfeited a second oath to get classified information. Sir, all these people are spies against the United States. They could be arrested immediately. There isn't anything to figure out. Just arrest them and figure it out afterwards. But by using these names on an unconstitutional oath of office, and then using a fictitious name to get state secrets, well, that makes them a spy, and we don't need to have any more evidence. Hang on a second. And so again, in the laws of the United States, right, 1 Stat 23, This oath has since been codified into the United States Code into Title IV, seat of government and the states, in which it says in Section 101, so this would be 4 U.S.C. 101, oath by members of legislature and officers. Every member of a state legislature and every executive or judicial officer of a state shall, before he proceeds to execute the duties of his office, take an oath in the following form. To wit, I state your name, do solemnly swear I will support the Constitution of the United States, period. Well, that would mean the governor is supposed to take this oath. But when you go like I did, and you could say, well, let me go see what the governor's oath looks like, and get a copy sent to you. From the state of Michigan, you will see that it doesn't say, I state your name, right? There's no place to put the governor's name in, which is Gretchen Esther Whitmer, by the way. So this isn't the oath that satisfies 4 U.S.C. 101, but it's the only oath they have. Now, Gretchen Esther Whitmer did not use her full legal name. She did not properly identify herself on this oath. So it's a counterfeit. And she didn't take the oath to satisfy 4 U.S.C. 101 prior to exercising the powers of her office. She's not the governor, sir. She's a usurper. It's not just her. This is every governor, every state attorney general, every judge, every justice in the state. All of these state offices have failed to fucking qualify for the office. I may have done a video or two on this, sir. In addition, sir, if you'll notice, this oath here talks about duties of the office on which I'm about to enter. Well, let's go read the Constitution for a second. So this is the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution of the United States. Notice it does not say Constitution of the United States of America. It says the Constitution of the United States. The reason for that is United States of America is King George's venue. It's his property. He claimed it in the Treaty of Peace, which is now 8 Stat 80 in the Treaty Series 104, in which it's talking about Prince George III, by the grace of God, King of Great Britain, France, and Ireland, Defender of the Faith, Duke of Brunswick and Lunenburg, Arch-Treasurer and Prince-Elector of the Holy Roman Empire, and of the United States of America, without the T capitalized. United States of America. This is King George's venue. Now, sir, go look at your passport. It says United States of America on it. Right? They have us in the wrong fucking venue. What it doesn't say is the United States of America, which is on money. Go look at a $20 bill, 10, 5, doesn't matter. They all say the United States of America on them. It doesn't say United States of America. Right? Well, the United States of America, as we all know, is the entity that was created under Article 1 of the Articles of Confederation that says the style of this confederacy shall be the United States of America with the T capitalized. So this is part of a scheme. It was done this way from the beginning. Somebody's been massaging this stuff all of these years. But what they've done, in effect, is by making sure that nobody takes the proper oath of office, well, then there's nobody who has any authority under the Constitution of the United States. Because we're not following frickin' procedure. So in this Declaration and Constitution, let's see, if we go down here to Section 6 of the first article, it says that no person holding an office under the United States shall be a member of either house during his continuance in office. Well, these people just said that they're taking an oath to discharge the duties of an office. Now, what they don't tell you is that this oath is in 5 U.S.C. 101, which is an administrative oath. It's not an oath for the legislature. It's not an oath for the judicial branch. It's an oath for the administration. So, it's unconstitutional. Now, it says in the oath, where is that thing here? Okay, so here it is. Government organizations and employees, Title V, it says in 3331, Oath of Office, or this is the oath we're speaking of, that it says an individual except the president elected or appointed to an office of honor or profit in the civil service or uniformed services shall take the following oath. Well, the legislature isn't in the civil service, and they're not in the uniformed services. They're not taking an oath, an office of honor or profit. They're members of Congress. So why are they taking this oath if they're members of Congress? Because, as we just read, they can't. Well, then obviously they're not in Congress. It goes on to say that this oath, this section does not affect other oaths required by law. So the fact that 1 Stat 23 requires you to take this oath, right? I, A, B, do solemnly swear, case may be, I'll support the Constitution of the United States, isn't overrode by the fact that they want you to take this oath. Also, if you're going to have an office elected or appointed to an office of honor or profit in the civil service or uniformed services, you have to take both of them. If you want to have any authority under the United States, according to the 6th article of the Constitution, and 1 Stat 23, you have to have taken this very oath. I, state your name, do solemnly swear or affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States, period. No so help me God, no add-ons, no more than that. That is the form. In the form following, just like you see it, and if you don't do it this way, you didn't satisfy the 6th article. Now, if you're taking a job that requires more than one oath, well, so be it. But you still had to take this one first. Now, I don't know if commissioned officers are taking this oath or not. I don't know what they're doing. I know that as an enlisted man, I'm not taking an office under the Constitution because I'm a non-commissioned officer. Right? So, and an oath of enlistment is different than an oath of office. Even just the word enlistment has a different definition than most people would have understood it to be. Let's look at that. See, this is what it means to enlist: to enroll, to register, to enter a name on a list, to engage in public service by entering the name in a register as an officer enlistman, to engage in public service by subscribing articles or enrolling one's name. That's an oath of enlistment. Well, that's what I did, sir. Now, commissioned officers are taking an oath that says, so help me God. You guys have to figure that out. That's beyond my pay grade. So if we continue on to go through the Constitution real quick, and we go to the 6th article, right? This Article 6, where it says, all senators and representatives before mentioned, and members of the several state legislatures, and all executive and judicial officers, both of the United States and the several states, shall be bound by oath or affirmation to support this Constitution, but no religious test shall ever be required as a qualification in any office or public trust under the United States. Well, so help me God is a religious test. And as we've seen, that so help me God is in the oath of 5 U.S.C. 3331. So that oath cannot ever, will not ever satisfy the 6th article of the Constitution. But it is satisfied by this oath right here in 1 Stat 23. And what else did this have to say then, right? To support the Constitution. So this is, officers of the United States and of the several states all have to take this oath. Now, if we go down to where the amendments are, now look at this. It says amendments to the Constitution of the United States of America. Well, these aren't amendments to the Constitution we just looked at, because that Constitution is the Constitution of the United States. This is the Constitution of the United States of America. Well, what is that? What is the Constitution of King George? It's the Magna Carta. All right, these are amendments to the frickin' Magna Carta. Or whatever the deal was that King George had when he set up the United States of America, because that's what he used to call it. All right, we called it the colonies. He called it United States of America, North America, or something like that. So there you are, sir. I can't make it much simpler than that. We need to do the proper oath. And it's not being done. And your adversaries didn't do it. And not only didn't they take the proper oath, they simulated legal processes in a court that doesn't have any jurisdiction to find anything against you because you're an officer of the United States military. You have the privilege to try by court-martial. Not that you need it because they violated the law. I'm just saying you could just easily say, well, I demand trial by court-martial. And that would end all that craziness. But since we're past that now, and we're looking about, well, what to do to prosecute the false or the malicious prosecution against you, I'm just trying to point out the simple fact that that if you had the time to watch General FLYNN flash message on Rob Reider at YouTube, you would see that I'm pointing out that in your court case here, that they opened 2 different court cases against Michael T. Flynn. That is not your legal name, number one. And why are there 2 different cases? One USA v. Flynn and one Michael T. Flynn. And, I'm pointing out a bunch of other things, like United States of America, that is not the name of the government. It could either be United States or it could be the United States of America, but it's not United States of America. That's King George's jurisdiction. So there we are, sir. I hope that somebody will find a way to get this to you. And the sooner the better. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your service. And God bless the United States. Have a good day, sir.